You need to learn how to farm, because at the end of the day, everybody has to hunt. I do not need excitement. I do not need craziness. The choice is yours. It's your business. Start farming. Most salespeople are trained to hunt, to chase, to close, and then to do it all over again. Yes, there might be some celebrating. Yes, there might be some thrill of the chase, but at the end of the day, if all you know how to do is hunt, all you know how to do is start over from zero, time and time again. So what is the answer to this? The answer is how I've built my career from the beginning: farming. You need to learn how to farm, because at the end of the day, everybody has to hunt, everyone. But the real choice that you get to make is whether you're going to transition that hunting over to farming. Now, let's talk about the two, right? Hunting is sexy. Hunting is thrilling. When you think of a hunter, you think of someone that's agile and fast and smart and sexy, and they use the weapon and they make the kill and they bring home the steak. And who doesn't love steak? No shade for all you vegetarians out there. We love you here too. But honestly, everything about hunting depicts this very sexy situation. And that's really how it is depicted in our sales arena as well. Hunters are celebrated. Meanwhile, this idea of farming, unless you're talking about a country western bar or you're talking about some really sweet Americana, there's not a lot of sex appeal that comes from the idea of farming. It really is just dirty monotony, right? You put your overalls on, you get in your tractor, you do your job, and then you do it all over the next day. However, the crazy thing is, if you look at civilizations across time, the civilizations that grew the largest and the strongest and to be the most powerful were the civilizations who learned how to farm. Hunting is a necessity until you learn how to farm. This is really what the philosophy of my career has been. I started off farming, just like basically every salesperson in existence. But I decided that I wanted to do business with the people that wanted to do business with me, and I decided that I wanted to do business with people that I actually got along with. And so I started cultivating those relationships. Now, the analogy here is very interesting, because hunting and farming is a lot like dating and getting married. A lot of the same viewpoints and a lot of the same stigmas exist, right? Ooh, dating. It's exciting. It's interesting. It's fast-paced. It's got variety. You get to meet a lot of people. Great. Cool. Marriage, on the other hand, is portrayed as boring and safe and stable, and it's the same thing over and day in and day out. And what do you really get? I'll tell you what you get. You get foundation. You get depth. You get protection, right? Doing it with someone is a lot better than doing it alone. But in all seriousness, there is a ton of benefits that come with a marriage. But it also depends on whether or not that's what you want. Do you want fun and exciting and chaotic? Or do you want routine, predictability, and safety? Personally, in my business, I want routine, predictability, and safety. And I'll tell you what, so does my boss. My boss wants to know what kind of numbers I have coming in. My boss wants to know what kind of exposure we have to my business and what I am doing with my clients. If things are chaotic and the numbers are all over the place, yeah, I might get my Moby Dick story and land a whale one year. And then the next year, I'm hunting, but I don't land anything big. I just got a bunch of rabbits and squirrels. And so I'm a stinker on the sales team. When you're hunting, your sales cycle is just up and down and it's all over the place. But when you switch over to farming, when you switch over to a more relationship-based approach where you go deeper and you genuinely aim to partner up with the people that you're working with and do business repeatedly and build a foundation and grow upon that foundation, you end up with sustainability. You end up with something that you can really take to the bank, because not only do you kind of have a better understanding of what your sales are going to look like and what your pipeline looks like, but you also get to keep a lot more money because people give you grace. And grace is only earned through trust. And trust takes time. So if you screw up with someone that you have built the trust with and have grace with, you're more likely to get a, hey, don't do that again, but I'll help you out this time. Versus if you're hunting and you've never done a job with this person, it's the first job you ever will do, ever have done and ever will do with them, chances are they're going to tell you to go kick rocks and get it figured out, because they are not going to take a financial loss for you because they know that they're never going to see you again. Yeah, farming is boring, but you know what? I'm at a point in my life, I crave boring. I'll take boring every single day of the week. I do not need excitement. I do not need craziness. And in fact, variability in my life is the devil, okay? I hate it. And so I need to run and operate my business in such a way that I can have consistent work come in and I can have people want to work with me versus always going out and finding the next best thing. There's another thing that comes with farming that's pretty incredible. And it's something I like to call getting behind the fence. If you're hunting, you're usually not allowed behind the fence, right? Say you are trying to hunt on some land and it's owned by someone else and there's a fence there, that person can not allow you to hunt their land because it's their land, right? So now you have to find somewhere else to hunt. Meanwhile, if you know the farmer and if you have a relationship with the farmer and you are farming, chances are you can ask that person, hey, listen, can I come on your land? Can I come behind the fence and have access to what it is you know and what it is that you have? And that answer can be yes. And that yes is very powerful. See, now you're getting access to deals that you never would have had before because there was no trust. You're getting access to deals that you would have never ever had before because there was no history. There was no performance check by your client to say, hey, are they going to do a good job? And then when you do a good job several times in a row, now they want to work with you. That doesn't exist in a hunting world. The only way that exists in a hunting world is if you have word of mouth references from past people that you've worked with, and you better hope that your new client knows those people or trusts those people well enough to give you the trust without actually having verified through working with you themselves. You get so much more in a farming environment. And it's a lot more fun. You get to win with your buddies. You get to lose with your buddies. You get to watch people's businesses grow that you are emotionally invested in and you want them to win. And guess what? The more times that they win and the more that their business grows, you get to be there right along with them. It's a beautiful thing. So, like dating and getting married, you got hunting and you have farming. You get to choose what you want to do. And there is always going to be some hunting in your business. But it doesn't need to be this endless chaotic roller coaster of just hunting. The goal is to shift it to where 80 to 85% of your time is spent farming. And then you have about 15 to 20% of your time that you set aside for new opportunities, right? New clients. And those aren't even cold clients, right? Those are warm clients because most likely they're going to be referrals from the relationships that you're developing and growing. So you're going to go in warm and you're going to have even less energy spent on closing those new clients than you ever would have had in the first place if they had been actual cold clients. Start farming. The choice is yours. It's your business. Do with it as you will. But I'm going to tell you right now, going down the path of a farmer, it might not be sexy. It might not be thrilling, but you know what? It will give you consistent results more times than hunting ever will. If you want to talk about this, if you are currently in a hunting mode and that's all you've been doing and that's all you've known how to do for as long as your career has been, and you want to look at doing something differently, let's talk. Shoot me an email, find me at nathanmark.com. Let's have a chat. I would love to discuss with you how to turn you from a hunter into a farmer. Take care, and I'll catch you next time. Bye-bye.